Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Rama, Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Rama, Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Rama, Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrutyam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavatir Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 23. Maharaj Prutu going back home. Text 5. Kandamula falahara.
Kandamula-phalahara.
Shushka parnashana kvachit.
Shushka-parnashana kvachit.
Abhaksha katichit pakshan.
Abhakshaha kachit pakshan.
Vayu bhakshas tatha param.
Vayu bhakshastatha param.
Kandamula falahara.
Kandamula-phalahara.
Shushka parnashana kvachit.
Shushka-parnashana kvachit.
Abhaksha katichit pakshan.
Abhakshaha kachit pakshan.
Vayu bhakshas tatha param.
Vayu bhakshastatha param.
Kandamula falahara.
Kandamula-phalahara.
Shushka parnashana kvachit.
Shushka-parnashana kvachit.
Abhakshas katichit pakshan.
Abhakshaha kachit pakshan.
Vayu bhakshas tatha param.
Vayu bhakshastatha param.
कंदमूलफलाहारः
Kandamula-phalahara.
शुष्कपर्णाशनः क्वचित्
Shushka-parnashana kvachit.
अभक्षः कतिचित् पक्षान्
Abhakshaha kachit pakshan.
वायुभक्षस्ततः परम्
Vayu bhakshastatha param.
कंदमूलफलाहारः
Kandamula-phalahara.
शुष्कः पर्णाशनः क्वचित्
Shushka-parnashana kvachit.
अभक्षः कतिचित् पक्षान्
Abhakshaha kachit pakshan.
वायुभक्षस्ततः परम्
Vayu bhakshastatha param. Kandamula-phalahara.
कंदमूलफलाहारः
Shushka-parnashana kvachit.
शुष्कपर्णाशनः क्वचित्
Abhakshaha kachit pakshan.
अभक्षः कतिचित् पक्षान्
Vayu bhakshastatha param.
वायुभक्षस्ततः परम्
Kandamula falahara.
Kandamula-phalahara.
Shushka parnashana kvachit.
शुष्कपर्णाशनः क्वचित्
Abhaksha kachit pakshan.
अभक्षः कतिचित् पक्षान्
Vayu bhakshas tatha param.
Vayu bhakshastatha param.
Word to word meaning. Kanda, trunk. Moola,
Mula.
roots. Phala,
Phala.
fruits. Ahara,
Ahara.
eating.
Eating.
Shushka,
Shushka.
dry.
Dry.
Parna,
Parna.
leaves. Asana,
Ashana.
eating.
Eating.
Kvachit,
Kvachit.
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Abhakshaha,
Abhakshaha.
drinking water.
Drinking water.
Katichit,
Katichit.
for several.
For several.
Pakshan,
Pakshan.
fortnights.
Fortnights.
Vayu,
Vayu.
the air.
the air
Bhaksha,
Bhakshaha.
breathing.
Breathing.
Tatah param,
Tatha param.
thereafter.
Thereafter.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai
Jai
Srila
Srila
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Translation. In the Tapovan, Maharaj Prithu sometimes ate the trunks and the roots of the trees, and sometimes he ate fruits and dried leaves, and for some weeks he drank only water. Finally, he lived simply by breathing air. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, yogis are advised to go to a secluded place in the forest and live alone in a sanctified spot there. By Prithu Maharaj's behavior, we can understand that when he went to the forest, he did not eat any cooked food sent by the city from some devotees and disciples. As soon as one takes a vow to live in the forest, he must simply eat roots, tree trunks, fruits, dried leaves, or whatever nature provides in that way. Prithu Maharaj strictly adopted these principles for living in the forest, and sometimes he ate nothing but dried leaves and drank nothing but a little water. Sometimes he lived on nothing but air, and sometimes he ate some fruits from the trees. In this way, he lived in the forest and underwent severe austerity, especially in regard to eating. In other words, overeating is not at all recommended for one who wants to progress in spiritual life. Srila Rupa Goswami also warns that too much eating and too much endeavor, atyahara prayasascha, are against the principles by which one can advance in spiritual life. It is also notable that, according to Vedic injunction, to live in the forest is to live in the mode of complete goodness, whereas to live in the city is to live in the mode of passion, and to live in the brothel or drinking house is to live in the mode of ignorance. However, to live in a temple is to live in Vaikuntha, which is transcendental to all the modes of material nature. This Krishna conscious movement affords one the opportunity to live in the temple of the Lord, which is as good as Vaikuntha. Consequently, a Krishna conscious person does not need to go to forest and artificially try to imitate Maharaj Prithu or the great sage and munis who used to live in the forest. Srila Rupa Goswami, after retiring from his minister's seat in the government, went to Vrindavan and lived beneath a tree like Maharaj Prithu. Since then, many people have gone to Vrindavan to imitate Rupa Goswami's behavior. Instead of advancing in spiritual life, many have fallen into material habits and even in Vrindavan have become victims of illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. The Krishna conscious movement has been introduced in the Western countries, but it is not possible for Westerners to go to the forest and practice the severe austerities which were ideally practiced by Prithu Maharaj or Rupa Goswami. However, Westerners or anyone else can follow in the footsteps of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur by living in a temple, which is transcendental to residence in a forest, and to vow to accept Krishna Prasad and nothing else. Follow the regulator principles and chant 16 rounds daily of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this way, one's spiritual life will never be disturbed. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamajam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagna Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagna Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhishcha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this verse particularly talk about the austerities. From these words, it talks about what are the austerities Prithu Maharaj undergone. Like he voluntarily accepted and followed these austerities to elevate himself. So this verse talks in the Tapovan, Maharaj Prithu sometimes ate the trunks and the roots of the trees, and sometimes he ate fruits and dried leaves, and for some weeks he drank only water. Finally, he lived simply by breathing air. So if you see here, like Prithu Maharaj is setting examples for everyone, and starting from the pastime of Prithu Maharaj, if you see, when he was ruling, when he was behaving, when he was dealing with everyone, each and every step he was perfect, and he was setting a right example how to behave, how to execute, how to act, and he was setting so many examples. And here finally if you see, like the same enthusiasm in which, like he was ruling, with the same enthusiasm he was doing even tapasya, to attain the perfection, and to have to like perfect his life and go back to home, to spiritual world. So and he was setting all these examples, like how to and he was also following the footsteps of previous acharyas, or previous exalted devotees, and like so many examples are there, and like he was perfectly following them, as it is, like yeah, here when we read this verse particularly, like and we reminded the pastime of Dhruv Maharaj, which talks about which comes in this fourth canto, 8th chapter and 9th chapter. It described elaborately, like how Dhruv Maharaj undergone severe austerity in 6 months, and he attained the perfection. He attained that darshan of the Lord. So same way, like he here also Prithu Maharaj, if you see, like he is also following as it is. When we read that conversation, and when we read these things, Prithu Maharaj pastimes and Dhruva Maharaj pastimes, if you see, like almost they are all following the instructions what they have received, and as it is they are following. So there is no kind of changes in this. It's fixed. So to attain God means, like this is the procedure which you have to follow, and it has been there in the scriptures, and they have to follow it. So, and so many people, so many exalted devotees followed it, and they achieved it, they got success. And same way here Prithu Maharaj is also following it, and this chapter title itself says that he achieved it. He achieved that, and he went back to home, back to Godhead. Like Prithu Maharaj setting an example now how to follow all these things. Now he already achieved this perfection when he was doing that yajna sacrifice, and he got that darshan of the Lord, and still but still to set an example, because people will follow the great personalities. So to give them the right guidance, and he was executing, he was practicing himself and setting an example, showing them the world that how they have to perfect their life. Same way, like here Prithu Maharaj, after his retirement of life, along with his wife, they went to forest and they took up austerities. And the further verse, if you see, like he was doing very very severe austerities. Like next work, immediate next verse talks about, like how he voluntarily accepted, in the summer he used to set a fire, and he sit in the within that hot place, and it's a summer, automatically it is hot, but still he wanted to do austerity, so he sets a fire and he sits in that. And in the winter, he goes and sits inside the water until the neck, and in the rainy season he used to be under the rain, completely wet, and do severe austerity. And he used to sleep just on the ground, without using anything, without using any leaves, or without any bedding, or whatever we use nowadays. So they don't use all these things, but just they do severe austerities. So in that way, when they are determined, and when they are not disturbed by all these things, definitely they are going to achieve the perfection, and they are going to achieve that Supreme Lord, and they can go back to that spiritual world and never return back. So here Prithu Maharaj setting a right example, like when in the purport also Prabhupada says, like when when devotees or when the Prithu Maharaj, so when he went to the forest, then he was not at all. He's a king. He's a king. He has been like whenever what we say, whenever he want food, he will get royal food, right? No, and it is said like generally there is a saying like when you wanted to eat in the morning, you should eat like a prince, and when you eat in the afternoon, you should eat like a king. So like that. So in the night, you should eat like a beggar. No, whatever is there, you should eat or you should drink water and sleep off. So that is has to be followed. Means like in the here if you see like king, so he used to get a royal food, and like whatever item is once cooked and offered to him, that next cannot be repeated. So every day new item, new variety. So that is the opulence of a king. No, and here Prithu Maharaj is ruling all the world. It means like no, definitely like there will be so many servants who will be serving him nicely. King is that is a standard, like royal luxury, and that person who has been that king who has been having this kind of luxury and habituated to it, but when he voluntarily took up this forest life, vanaprastha, then he is not at all attached to the cooked food. Now, Prabhupada says, like, by Prithu Maharaj's behavior, we can understood that when he went to the forest, he did not eat any cooked food sent from the city, from the devotees or disciples. It is clearly said. Now, whatever is available and whatever his nature is providing, he is eating that. And not only that, not only eating whatever nature is given, okay, so many mangoes are there, let me eat all the mangoes and fill my belly and become fatty. No. He also minimizes in that. We can see in Dhruv Maharaj's pastimes. 6 months. The 6 months started from the first starting month. 1 month he ate only fruits and roots. Then the next month he reduced the fruits and roots eating, and he was eating only dried leaves. There is no salt in that. Nothing is there. Nowadays, today we have very less salt in the sabji, then we added salt in for the taste. Right now, without taste, we can't even willing to eat it. But here, in the forest life, not only just attached to eating the fruits, which are very sweet, natural sweetness is there in that, but still they will give up. Okay, for some time they eat and they give it up, and they eat only dried leaves, and they drink only water. They sustain with water, and finally, they will just sustain with the breathing. Just by the air they will sustain, but it's very difficult to understand and to imitate also, or to practice this also for the Kali Yuga jivas. It's very, very difficult. If you see when he is not going to satisfy his tongue, he will go mad. He will go mad, and if he is not given a proper delicious food items to satisfy just the tongue, then he is going to be mad. He will not able to behave properly. He will not able to what we call not able to be behave as a normal person. He will become mad, or like an animal. He will be like bag on us, so only it's not at all recommended for the Kali Yuga jivas to do these kind of austerities. For that it's all glories to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has given the chanting process and for this Kali Yuga, and it is the Yuga Dharma, and just by practicing or just by chanting, focus chanting, sincerely chanting, then that makes all perfection. We will get all perfection with that. So in this also, Prabhupada in the purport says, people they start imitating these great souls, and they go and do austerities, but they fail. They falls down again. They can't able to control their senses because they are agitated. Their senses are disturbed. So they come back. Even in that nice place, they start searching for sense gratificatory things in that place also. So it is said forest is in a complete mode of goodness. complete mode of goodness. And city is a mode of passion, full of mode of passion. People running here and there for money, so it's a mode of passion. And drinking places and brothel means
Prostitution.
okay, prostitution place and the drinking houses. Nowadays you can see like all the houses are drinking houses only. People they drink inside. Almost everyone when you go to any big man's house, you can see like there is a separate room where you can see all varieties of liquor bottles, all brands of liquor bottles. It's like it's like a mode of ignorance, mode of ignorance. Without that, they can give up water, drinking water, but they can't give up drinking alcohol. That's the situation. So so most of the places are like mode of ignorance. So but people who are completely agitated and they wanted to imitate like these great souls, so they go to the forest and they can't able to do for a long time. What happens, like they falls down and they start spoiling that place. They start that place, and they what we call completely change that environment actually. So only it is not at all recommended. And almost we can see like almost all the forests which are meant to use for the tapasya, those forests nowadays we can't see now. Only Himalayas are only left, because people can't go and do their austerity because it's too cold. But it is good place for the yogis or mystics, sadhus. So they goes and they generally do severe austerities there. Like in the further verses it says like Prithu Maharaj went there at the time of winter, and he was in that ice cold water. He was completely immersed himself into the water till the neck, and he was doing that severe austerity in that way. So but it is not at all possible for us to go and do. No, we can't even sustain there. No, we can't even live for a long for some days. We will die. But what to talk about austerity doing in that? There are so many Nag Babas or so many sadhus. Generally, when we can see them at the time of Kumbh Mela, so they generally come down and they participate in Kumbh Mela, and they go back to their places like Himalayas, and they do all these kind of austerities. And it is not that easy to do these austerities. Nowadays we can see so many videos in the YouTube saying like ice water challenge, something like that. People in the America or some foreign countries, they are mad. They do all this kind of stuff. They put ice water on them and things, but they can't stay for the long in that things with that things, because it is not natural. We didn't have practice of doing that. Now we are not habituated, and we are not even so determined to do that, right? We may be thought they may thought like it's a kind of fun, let us do, but they can't do for a long time. Just for a few minutes they can do, and they will just go off. So many people in the countries where there is snow, they go and they jump into the snow, thinking that making a video saying that they can do some kind of fun in the snow, but later on they end up with falling sick or some other diseases. Like it's not that easy for each and everyone to do. So this proves that we can't imitate the great personalities. So it's very difficult. So here Prabhupada in the purport says like according to the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they can easily live in the temple. Temple is a place of where it is said as Vaikuntha is above all the three modes, and in that way when people they in the previous classes we also heard like in this Kali Yuga it's difficult to find out a place like to practice Vanaprastha and going to the forest and doing so many austerities. It's very difficult. So instead of that they can take up Vanaprastha and they can stay near the temple or inside the temple, and they can practice nicely devotional service. And if you see this verse also talks about regulating eating. And Prabhupada says, quotes about atyahara prayasasta. It says like too much eating and too much endeavor should not be encouraged. It is not encouraged. So like generally yogis, they do these kind of austerities to regulate themselves. But for a devotee, to regulate, they have different days, like ekadasi, and some appearance days of so many great acharyas, disciplines day, appearance day, and like Lord's appearance days and festivals. Other time we are supposed to fast. And Bhishma Panchak, Chaturmas. These are very important. These are the days which are used, or which helps the devotee to practice some kind of austerity, some kind of detachment. Like especially in the Chaturmas, we can see like first month we are not supposed to eat the green leafy vegetables, so we should fast from them. And there is a scientific reason also, because like when it was when Chaturmas starts, like first month is like the time where rain falls, and when rain falls, generally unwanted and some because of some first rain, it will be like kind of acid rain, or some kind of chemicals will be there, so it goes into the the plants will take that water, and they become little not good for the health, so they have to fast. They should not eat. It's not recommended to eat all these things. And in that way, like so many reasons are, so scientific reasons are also there to avoid all these things. And second month is fasting from the curd. Third month is fasting from the milk, and the current month which we are following is like fasting from the milk. And next fourth month is like fasting from urud dal. So like this, it is recommended to do this kind of severe austerities. It's not that severe when compared with the what Prithu Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj was doing. And it's just has to be like controlled. Okay, giving up for 1 month. So like that, when we practice ekadashis, Ekadashi is called as Hari Vasara, like it's a very favorite day of Lord Hari. So on that day we should give up eating, and instead of feeding our belly, we should feed our ears by hearing and chanting, and by reading, and doing kirtan. So it's recommended. It's recommended, and it's for the benefit of a devotee. So in that way, if you see like people generally, yogis, they generally do these kind of austerities to attain something. Like some yogis, they do this kind of severe austerities for only to get liberation. But devotees, they do these kind of austerities. They take up these austerities just for the pleasure of the Lord. They don't have any kind of motive inside, behind that. Okay, if I fast, then I will get this kind of power, this kind of siddhi, something like that. No, because Ekadashi is very favorite to the Lord. Let me fast on that day, and let me hear more about the Lord. Let me chant more about the Lord, names of the Lord, and let me glorify. Let me read about the pastimes of the Lord. In that, they are completely immersed in the devotional activities. So that is one of the anga also in the Bhakti 64 angas. That is one of the anga, ninth anga, like fasting on the day of Ekadasi is very much recommended. So we should fast. We should, as a devotee, we should do all these things. And like that, it is for the devotees, like generally it is not recommended for them to go to forest and do this kind of austerity. It's all the merciful mercy of the Lord, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Acharyas, who has given us they know about our fallen condition. So they came here to uplift us by giving the simple process. Prabhupada says here, as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati recommends here, living in a temple which is transcendental to residence in a forest, and to vow to accept Krishna Prasad, only Krishna Prasad and nothing else, and follow the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds daily or the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this way, the spiritual life will never be disturbed. So if you see, like so this is the procedure where devotees, they when they follow this, and they will be stable. They will be stable in their Krishna consciousness. And same way, like there is one more method what Prutu Maharaj is following, and when by doing all this kind of following these severe austerities, they are going to be stable in their practice. Like this, it is recommended to for especially for the devotees to practice this as per Prabhupada says, these things we have to practice and be stable. And if you see in the Dhruva Maharaj this one pastime, so there's very nice chapter. It's like 8th chapter. Dhruva Maharaj leaves home and goes to forest for the austerity. So this chapter talks about meeting when he got insulted by the stepmother, Suruchi. So then Dhruva Maharaj, when he was very 5-year-old boy, so he got he felt insulted, and he goes to Suniti, and says like this has happened. Then according to her instruction, like he goes to forest to see the Lord, to talk to the Lord. And on the way, Narad Muni comes. It just by the mercy of the Narad Muni, he was able to practice nicely and able to attain the Lord within 6 months. And in that conversation, if you see, like Narad Muni, he examined Dhruva Maharaj how determined he is, and Dhruva Maharaj passed his examine, and Narad Muni gives him nice instructions, saying that to do particular things in the forest. He says to go to Madhuvan and the banks of Yamuna, take 3 times bath in the Yamuna every day, and make a form of the Lord and worship, do archana, and meditate on the chant. And he gives a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he chants. He started chanting, whatever as per the instructions given by the Narad Muni. Then within 6 months, he was able to achieve the perfection. Now he was able to achieve the Lord. So in this way, like if you see, there is one paragraph which I felt very nice. So in the purport where Prabhupada talks. So there are different stages of perfection according to different person's objectives. Generally, people are karmis, for they engage in activities of sense gratification. Above the karmis are the jnanis, who are trying to become liberated from material entanglement. Yogis are still more advanced because they meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Person of the Godhead. And above all these are the devotees who simply engage in transcendental loving service of the Lord. They are situated seriously on the topmost platform of ecstasy. So if you see, like these devotees are the highest. They are given the highest position because they are in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. They are not behind anything to gain with the Lord, anything they wanted from the Lord. They don't want all these things. So, and if you see, like when Narad Muni instructs this to the Dhruva Maharaj, and he wanted to see his father Uttanapad, what he is doing in the kingdom. Then he goes to the kingdom, to the Uttanapad, and he sees he sees Uttanapad, who is very, very much aggrieved or morose, and he was he was not doing any activity. He was always thinking of his son, Dhruva Maharaj. Then he goes and talks. Narad Muni goes and talks. Why you are in this grief-stricken stage? What happened to you? He knows everything, but he was asking. But then Uttanapad says, because one fault which I did, that is attached to my wife, neglecting another wife, who is very dear to me, and his son is also very dear to me, and he is only 5 years old, who wanted to sit on my lap. He is very innocent, he don't know anything, but still I neglected him just by seeing my wife to whom I was just attached to bodily beauty. No, I am just attached to that beauty. No, not attached to the heart of mother, heart of Suniti. No, Suniti was not that beautiful than Suruchi, but her heart is very pure, very soft, very nice. But Suniti, she is very beautiful externally, but she has not good heart. She is very rude, very not good hearted, not good behavior. No, so in that way, like Uttanapath says, like I did a big mistake. No, I might have accepted my younger son, Dhruv Maharaj, and at least I may not, if I may not kept him on his lap, at least I might have tapped him. No, I might have pacified him. No, that can made him to stay with me. No, he was doing that. So he was lamenting in that way. So but Narad Muni says, like don't worry, like you might be not knowing that almost your son's glories has been spread all over the world. No, he was not an ordinary boy. He was doing all kind of he was in the process to attain supreme lord. He was directly under control of supreme lord. No, Lord Narad Muni says, and he gives the how Lord is taking care of Dhruv Maharaj in that way, and he goes off. And when Dhruv Maharaj, starting from the first month till the 6th month, he was doing severe austerity. And at the end of the 6th month, you can see, like he stopped even taking air, breathing air, and he captured the Lord into his heart, and he completely closes all his 9 holes, where there is no evacuation or there is no releasing of air from his body. He is completely blocked everything, and with that, and he was standing on one leg, and with his toe he was pressing the earth, half of the earth down. Then, like whole world was terrible. Like 3 planetary systems were like afraid, and demigods were not able to take breathe. They were what we call suffocated, and they went to Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they complained, saying that this is never have been experienced in our life. This is happening something which is very weird, and we are not experienced. We didn't had any kind of experience. Then Supreme Personality of God says, Krishna says, like this is the boy who is very devotee of me, and he is doing severe austerity for me. So you don't worry, go to your place. Let me go and pacify him. Then Lord comes which is along with his Garuda in front of Dhruv Maharaj. And Dhruv Maharaj closed his eyes and completely meditating on the Lord within the heart. And at once happens, like that meditation, the on which he was meditating, Dhruv Maharaj, that form disappears within the heart. Then he got disturbed. He completely got disturbed. Then he opened his eyes. The same form on which he was meditating within the heart was there in front of him. So there in front of Dhruv Maharaj. Then he was in ecstasy, he was in crying, he was like embracing the Lord with his little arms, and he was like kissing the Lord's lotus feet, and he was crying, and he was offering obeisances, and he was not able to recite so nice slokas, or so nicely he was not able to talk with the Lord. Then Lord understands his inner feelings. Then he touched his conch shell, the Dhruv Maharaj. Then he started speaking very eloquently. So in this way, like how how Dhruv Maharaj has been perfected his life within 6 months. Same way here we can see the example of a Prithu Maharaj, who are following the previous great personalities, and are doing the same kind of austerity, undergoing same kind of austerity. But here the only difference is, like Dhruv Maharaj is a 5 years old boy who is not fit to go for the Vanaprastha ashram. But here Prithu Maharaj was going under, already went into the Vanaprastha ashram and following all these kind of austerities. But the process is same. But for Kali Yuga jivas, like me, who are very fallen, for them, no, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and previous acharyas, and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, now we got this, we are into this movement, Hare Krishna movement, where our only thing is like, we have to chant, we have to read, and we have to serve the devotees. And just by doing all these things, we can achieve the perfection. What the great acharyas, the great souls who are achieved this, their perfection, now by doing severe austerity, by doing just by little austerity, and focusing on these things like chanting daily 16 rounds, following the regulative principles, only eating prasad, and staying together with the association of devotees, and only doing all these things, simple things, we can attain that perfection. We can attain that perfection. So with this, I would like to stop here. So any comments, questions, corrections? So ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Jai.